Good morning, Rivers. Doing final preparations for flight 710. I've been stuffing around as usual. This morning we're going to go to Beijing. Just do a final check. Beverages, yes. Snacks, yes. Beanie, yeah, but I won't be wearing that mid-flight. Lip balm. Welcome aboard. Please find a seat. No, actually, yeah. Good luck finding a seat. There's not many seats on this plane. You have to bring your own snacks, beverages, seatbelts, life jackets, and on this occasion, seats. Hey, Scout, I just saw you sent me a message. I didn't have the chance to read it. I'm like, I got to get to me to work. We had really wild weather yesterday, and I was reading like 8,000 homes were without power overnight. Would have been a cold night for them. Mountains of rain. My tank is pretty much almost back to the top. Just checked it then, checked the levels. So I was also checking the water level in my windscreen wipers because my car that I washed beautifully on the weekend is now covered in sand again. I enjoy having you as a co-pilot too. Oh, it's okay. Cool. Just check I've got my office bag. Yes, I do. Nothing worse than driving. I have done it before, only once in 2 years. Drove to work, got to the office, and I'm like, your laptop is still at home. Little suitcase, like a hand-luggage size one, because I have to carry like legislation and shit in it. So it's pretty heavy stuff. So I've got a little wheelie case, and yeah, I worked from home yesterday, which was lush. Working in the office today, and then Friday I'm in a conference all day at the Baha'i Centre, which is a really great venue. So I'm looking forward to that. Sunny Bum and I are having the time of our lives. How are you and Pepsi and Mila doing? I mean, Sunny's obviously traumatised and so mum's going to work. That means the humans soon. So the face changes. It goes from being all trilling and flitting around, skipping around like, no care in the world, to being this morose, tragic, bring out the violins, sulking, floof ball on my bed. I'm going to be even more upset when I'm not at home at my usual time tonight, because I'm going to go and see my brother and sister-in-law and their kids, because their puppy Maisie died last week, which is awful. So they're now dealing with pet loss, and I'm going to go down and see them. My sister and I didn't want to. We've been calling them and checking in on them, but didn't want to actually physically go and see them last week because they just got bombarded with, attention, rightly so. So we just thought we'll let them have time with their friends and each other. But Ange and I decided to get them something for Maisie, and I went to the local nursery that does all the funky, rusty stuff that has he left paw prints on my heart cut out in the metal with some paw prints and a couple of love hearts. Like, it's really cute. It's quite big too, like it'll look nice up against the wall. And interestingly, my sister-in-law yesterday said we just can't get rid of her water bowl at the front door. And I was like, no, it's sort of iconic, really. And the way this thing is designed, it's designed to rest on a pot. So it's going to be able to rest on her bowl, which is kind of cute. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But, you know, every time we get a pet, we know that it's most likely we're going to outlive them. Wouldn't change it for anything. I'd still get animals, but it's just the deepest and deepest of pains, and it's just that, you know, their unconditional love and the fact that they're with you all the time. And so I remember sort of asking someone, why is animal grief so different to humans? I feel guilty that I've my pets more than I have some humans in my life. But it's the fact that they're depending on you, and yeah, that unconditional love, even if they're a feisty little fighter like Biscuit was, you know, you're their world. So it's very sad. Yeah, I think it's beautiful, and liked it as well. And she's actually taken a week off where she lives. If we were to turn right at the end of this road, she lives like 25 minutes further down the peninsula. Week off work because it's her birthday tomorrow, and as a result of that, I'm going to deliver the I don't really know what you call it. I mean, it's kind of a little memorial, I guess. But Will and Nikki's house is a white brick place, so I think the rusty love heart with the little quote on it up against the white brick wall is going to look really gorgeous. Anyway, rest in peace, little Maisie. I mean, she was 14 and a half. She was a Labrador. We had a lab when we were growing up, and Chelsea only lived to 8. And lots of other friends that had labs and golden retrievers, you know, around the same time. So 14 and a half years is a pretty good innings. And this is the dog that they took with them to Singapore. And then, so when we went to Singapore in January, we got to catch up with Maisie again. And then she came home when they moved back here at the start of this year. And she got to have, like, you know, another 6 months running around on the beach where she'd pretty much spent most of her life. She had a pretty good life, you know. She had more frequent flyer points than a lot of people on YouTube. Oh, that's a nice quote too. That's what I said about this Biscuit, that she saved me, for sure. Oh, it's you purchased animals, angel statues for gifts. Oh, yeah, so many people give you plants and flowers. Well, plants are lovely, I think, because at least there's a chance they'll make it. Although you feel terrible if you have a pet that dies and someone gives you a plant and then the plant dies, because I've been there. But like even when my mum died, our house was like a florist. There were just so many flowers delivered, and for like 24, maybe 48 hours max, the house looked incredible and smelled amazing. And then they all started dying, and it was really fucking depressing, to be honest. And we took shitloads because there were so many flowers, even at her funeral. We took so many of them back to the Whittle ward, which is where it's sort of like the palliative care ward. What did my mum call it? The point of no return. And also the hospitals, because there were just so many. It was ridiculous. I mean, mum wasn't a public figure, but Dad was, so everyone knew Mum as well. And in Australia, I know there's always debate on YouTube about palliative care and hospice, and I've heard YouTubers saying, oh, you could be in palliative care for years, but in Australia, no, it's it's the point of no return, like my mum said, and it's the end of the road. It's heightened palliative care to make people comfortable at the end of their lives. It's not hospice in Australia is where you can spend years. But I thought I've got to do a. I've been researching to do a live about the Rodneys suing Brian Upchurch, and I'm bringing it in with a slightly different angle because it fits in with some research I've been doing to do another live. Like they're sort of fitting together really well, and until I've got it written, I'm not sure. I can't remember if Finn said we're doing batshit on Wednesday morning or Wednesday night. No idea. But anyway, it'll be soon. Very soon. Like it'll be the next few days. You volunteer for hospice. But what is hospice in your state? Because that's the other thing I've noticed with American creators is it means different things in different places. Because some people were saying, I can't remember what creator it was who was adamant that palliative was long term, and they were saying, well, not where we live. It's not. It's the final countdown place. And then other people were saying hospice was, so, in their state. Why can't the world just use the same words for everything? It'd make life so much easier. Oh, just a word of warning. So hospice is end of life care. You'd be a beautiful person to be around people at the end of their lives. My best mate in Adelaide, she's a palliative care nurse for children. And palliative meaning the same thing that hospice does for you, Scout. And I always say to Georgie, I can't imagine anyone more beautiful and gorgeous, like inside and out, than Georgie. And Georgie's got this really impish, playful spirit. And for little kids that are dying, for them to have her around them, it just warms my heart. Yeah, okay, Jay today, because I'm sorry I keep shortening your name, but because it almost sounds like J for Jay, and I don't want to call you that. Journey to Justice, TJ, I'll call you that. No, TJFJ. The Journey to TJ. Oh my God, stop it. Yeah, so in Australia, hospice is long-term care. I mean, it might be short-term care and then they go home. They get better and they go home. Hospice is often used to give families and carers a bit of a break as well. Or if you live on your own and you're unwell, you end up in hospice so that you're being looked after. Whereas palliative care is end of life. If you do not leave the Whittle ward in Hobart, if you go there, that's where you're going to say goodbye, basically. It'd be very rewarding, Scout. And you're the perfect person to do it. Yeah, so I've got a Kylie Rodney live coming up. Well, a lawsuit by her grandfather and father against Brian Upchurch with a slightly different angle. I've already posted the court documents, so if people want to read that, I'm not one of those creators that's going to sit there and read through a 20, 30-page document because you're all grown-ups and you can do that. And obviously I'll pop the link under the live, and if anyone walks in and goes, I don't know what's going on, why do people do that? Like, if I roll into a live and I don't know what the fuck's going on, I'm either like, it's interesting, keep it playing for the next 5 or 10 minutes and work out what the fuck is going on. Or I know straight away what's going on and I'm like, nah, this isn't really my thing. Or I have no clue what's going on, but I also know it's not my thing. Yeah, my mum had amazing palliative care, but back when my mum was sick and when she died, there was no real support for like carers. Like my sister and I both stopped working, and I had like a little part-time job on the side to nurse mum, and there was very little support. Like that, that the times have changed. I mean, mum died in 2000, and the difference now with friends of mine whose parents are starting to die, and the way carers and families, like we weren't even able to access any sort of counselling service for ourselves. Like it was considered gauche, I guess, to be worried about your own mental health when you had somebody in your family dying. Unbelievable, actually. And there was very little opportunity. I mean, thank fuck I've got siblings and I'm close to them, because one of my girlfriends who's an only child and had to deal with the death of both her mother and father fairly close together. She didn't have siblings to help her with any of it. I really feel for only children in that situation. I mean, she had really close friends and everything, but there's another level of honesty that you have with siblings, in my view. Like Ange and I were able to say stuff that, oh, it's Scout's favourite causeway. This causeway was pretty much underwater yesterday. I'm so glad I worked from home. Like, as much as I love the wild and woolly weather along here sometimes, last night it was like crazy wind and bucketing down and water all over the road. My sister messaged me and said, did you work from home today? Because I just heard on the radio the causeways are really treacherous. And I was like, yep, I'm safe at home with Sunny Bum. She said, oh, thank goodness for that. So they can be quite fun when they get a little bit wild, but yesterday was too wild. There's a line. Mel Mac, hello. So the point of this live is just a bit of fun in a sea of swill. I was thinking this morning, as I do while I'm getting ready for work, washing my lady, all that stuff. And I've thought about this many times before too. But you've got all of these creators with shifty pasts that are all being exposed, and, they've done some. I mean, look, there's a shitload of creators on YouTube that are absolute fucking misfits. Let's not hold back on this. Let's just be brutally honest. Like, I've questioned many a time why the fuck I'm even on this platform and why I enjoy it so much when I'm basically hanging out with a bunch of reprobates. Not in our community, but just the YouTube sort of, and I'm using true crime loosely. I mean, we can talk grammar and all of the little offshoots, even the extreme knitting group. I mean, that community is batshit. But, well, good afternoon to you, Mel Mac. But I was listening to BX Beast Boy talking about Joneson and Life Perplexed, and there was all this sort of super chat, noise going on. Not for him, but like he was reacting to them. One of them, I think, Joneson maybe. I don't know. But it just suddenly dawned on me. I was like, oh, he was interviewing, I think, one of Laura's mods or members or whatever, who was explaining that, because Laura got struck, and to try and get around fair use, because Laura had to go and pick up her kid and it took her like 10 minutes, the people in the chat were sending super chats and super stickers to try and make noise, so there was a bit of a break in the continuity, so to speak. But which is, it was actually quite a smart idea. But I just was suddenly like, all these YouTube creators that have got all sorts of shifty backgrounds and, they're pretty sort of nasty online, and rip each other to shreds and bitch about each other. I mean, I hate the word drama as far as YouTube goes because there's nothing drama about it. It's 100% bitching. Let's just call it what it is. But then there's all these subscribers that are insanely loyal who pay memberships and throw super chats and super stickers and those thanks, if they're even still around, that you used to be able to send a creator if you watched a replay. And I've probably given like under $100, maybe even under $50 in terms of super chat. Well, between $50 and $100 in the last 5 years to people. I mean, one super chat got me kicked out of Jays for Justice's mod squad. Best $10 I've ever spent. But the regular people that are throwing all these money at these creators who really bring, well, hey, look at down this causeway, look at that fence. It's completely blown over. Yeah, strong winds. But yeah, so like they throw all this friggin' money over and over, week after week, month after month, year after year, at these creators who they really don't know a lot about. And now that a lot of the dirty, grimy backgrounds of some of them are coming to the forefront, these supporters and subscribers, rather than going, oh shit, I've been throwing money at this person for X amount of years and they're a piece of shit, it actually fires them up even more to send more money to them. And I'm like, huh? What are you fuckers doing? And then my thought, because my brain works in mysterious ways, my thought process then went to, imagine if we, as human beings, just started, oh, who's that? SRB, is that Senior B? Who are you? Sir B? SRB, g'day, good to see you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. But imagine in real life, if we just started throwing money at our actual friends, like we don't. And I mean, yeah, sometimes a friend might be in need and you might lend them some money or whatever. But I would imagine there's shitloads of subscribers on YouTube that have friends that are in need right now. But rather than getting on offline and getting in your kitchen and cooking them a casserole or sending them a little bit of money in a card because you know they're struggling or whatever, that people just prefer to throw their money at these creators who really are presenting their YouTube version of themselves, not their actual selves. You were recommended. Yay! Oh, it's initials. Go, yeah. Good to have you here. Apologies that you're watching me on a live drive, though, because the audio is pretty average. The camera's a long way, or my phone's a long way away from my face. I can see names at a glance, and I can read short, capitalized sentences, but that's about it. But at the other end, we get to hang out together in the car park of doom while I put makeup on before I go into work. So we get to have a quality conversation later on. But great to have you here. I hope you, well, you obviously know some people in the chat already, which awesome sauce. We're YouTube's tiniest unknown community. So welcome. Best community. Well, there's a lot of great communities, but we're one of them. Because we're reasonable. And we're funny. And we give a shit about each other. It's a bit of crazy going on here. I've got a car in front of me that's sitting right on the speed limit, which is great. I've got a speeding dude on the left of me, and then I've got a tailgating person behind me who wants me to go faster, even though there's a car directly in front of me that's setting the legal tempo here. It's fucking clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right, and I'm stuck in the middle of a tailgater and a law-abiding citizen. What day is it? It's Tuesday. The people are driving like it's a Monday morning. There's a lot of anger on the roads on a Monday, but Tuesday people are starting to calm down a little bit, usually. Not today. Mind you, 8,000 homes were without power overnight because of our storms. So there's probably a lot of people that are really pissed off because they were so cold last night they didn't sleep very well. Maybe. I don't know. That's awesome. The car in front of me braked and the tailgater behind me is now backed off. Cement shoes. G'day, Groover. Oh, are you telling SRB where I am? I'm on a tiny island. Well, it's not tiny. It's the land size, like the land, same amount of land as England. So it's not tiny. But there's only 500,000 people on it. And we're shaped like a little love heart at the bottom of mainland Australia. Tasmania. So yes, I am a Tasmanian devil. Not the Warner Brothers version, the Tasmanian devil version. Oh, SRB, it sounds like you found your home, man. We do some cooking, we do scam baiting, we do true crime, we do, and I'm talking OG true crime, you know, like the true crime that relies on facts. I've also got a show I do with another guy, Finn, called Batshit, where we look at some of the most batshit stories. There's snow on the mountain. Yay. Oh, it's a great little island. We've got snow on the mountain. So yeah, 500,000 people. I can't remember what the population of England is now, but we're talking millions for the same amount of space. We've got a lot of space. We've got a lot of wilderness areas and heritage areas and national parks, world heritage, you name it. And Hobart's got, where we're heading now, is the capital of the island and has just over 250,000 residents. So, yeah, our capital city has half of the population basically living in Hobart, and the rest of us are scattered across the island. And then up in the north, there's Launceston, Burnie, and Devonport. Like, they're the three biggest cities up north. But I'll be able to chat when we get to the car park of Doom, or now as it's known, the jail of Doom. Who was it who asked me if I was in prison the other day? It was hilarious. We're on the right side of the road. The correct side, I mean. It's so weird, isn't it? Because for us, we look at American movies and when we travel and we have to drive on the other side of the road, it feels so bizarre. Like, it's what you know, right? But like to me, it's totally nonsensical that you don't drive on the left-hand side of the road. Like it doesn't make sense to me at all. And when I lived in the States and learned to drive your way, it never felt. I mean, it feels comfortable because the driver's seats are in different spots. Like if my driver's seat was on the left-hand side of the car, then yeah, it would be odd. The same with you guys. If your driver's seats were on the right-hand side, it would be weird. So you've just got to remember that I'm sitting in your passenger seat. And I've travelled to countries where they, some drive on the left, some drive on the right. The most important thing when you travel to any country where they drive on the opposite side of the road is you've got to remember to look both ways when you're crossing the road. Because many tourists step out in front of buses and all sorts of other stuff because they're like, oh shit, goop. But if you think me driving on the wrong side of the road is weird, wait till we go over the bridge because that seems to freak most people out when they join a drive live for the first time. Even mainland Australians are a bit freaked out by this bridge because most of our bridges have got dividers between the lanes and so on. But here in Tasmania, we live on the edge and we've just got 5 lanes of total chaos coming up. It's great. I mean, it's not actually. It operates in an orderly fashion, but it freaks other people out because, like, you live in other places because they just don't have bridges that are this big without any. Is that a blank slate? And Josie? Actually, Fanny doesn't drive us nuts the way Panties does, Josie, just so you know. I mean, we call our vajujus Fannies. And who doesn't love a vajuju, right? But it makes us laugh that you call your bum a fanny. Absolutely. But no, if you want a word that Americans use that offends Australians the most, it's panties. And if you add moist at the front, even worse. Yeah. Every woman in Australia gets what I'm getting right now, which is like the heebie-jeebies up and down my neck at the word panties. Especially when it's a man. Oh, my God. If there's a man on YouTube who says panties, I just get enraged and I want to punch them through my screen. And I'm a passive person. Yes. You're listening from work, you cheeky monkey, you blank slate. Good to see you. But yeah, Fanny, no, we think it's hilarious that you call your bum a fanny when we call a vagina a fanny. I mean, the nanny fell out on her fanny. Is that not fucking hilarious when you're using the Aussie definition of fanny? The first time I heard the nanny song, I'm like, what? She landed on her vagina. She was out on her JJ. Whoa there. And then they said a picture of her sliding across the pavement. I'm like, I don't know how appropriate this is. And then it was a family-friendly show, and I was even more confused. But when you guys talk about your fanny packs, oh my God, I've got my fanny pack and my baseball cap and I'm ready to go hiking. We call them bum bags. Your fanny pack is a bum bag in Australia. And most self-respecting Australians wouldn't be seen dead wearing a bum bag. We really only talk about them when we're pointing at tourists going, look at that wanker in their fucking bum bag. I mean, I actually have a family member, not blood related, related by marriage. I can't read chat while I'm going over the crazy bridge. She owns one, and I don't know how to break it to her that it's embarrassing. But she was born and raised in England, so we don't have to own her as an Australian all the time. I don't know if you guys can see the mountain, but there's snow, which some of you who live in places where there's snow all the time, you're like, big fucking whoop. Well, most of you know that we've had a very mild and sunny winter in Australia, for those of you who follow my channel. Like, I've got daffodils sprouting in my garden. It's only just August. It's not spring yet, guys, but this mountain does get snow atop it, but not that often, and it doesn't hang around for very long. Snow at sea level is like a once in a decade or once every 20 years. Oh no, it's probably once every between 6 and 14 years or something. We might get snow at sea level. So we've got the harbour to the left of me and the mountain to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you. But the whole point of my life was, who would you actually be a real life friend with? Who you follow? Like, name a YouTube. Now, look, we've got a really great community, and I am friends with many people in this fabulous little community. And I like to think they feel the same way about me. But no, I'm asking you guys to name and be brave, because nobody gets ripped to shreds here at all. Like, I'm just curious, especially if there are people in the chat who actually super chat creators all the time. Would you actually be their friend in real life? Mel. Well, yes, Mel's an actual friend of mine too. But that's a good one. Yep, you'd be buddies with Mel. Would you rock up to her house and throw money in her face as your real life friend? I mean, obviously, with friends, if they say, oh, fuck, I'm really struggling right now, I mean, there's rules of never lend friends money and all the rest of it, but I'm not talking that sort of helping friends out in need. I'm just saying, would you arrive at Mel's house, cement shoes, and just flick $10 and a really bad emoji at her? And this isn't an anti-monetization discussion or anything like that either. Like, it blows my mind there are platforms where you can earn money just basically turning on a microphone. I mean, I used to work in breakfast radio, and it blew my mind that I got paid to talk shit doing that job. YouTube's kind of like the modern day radio station. The difference is who the fuck are all these people with microphones, and are they bringing anything awesome into your lives? And if they are, that's awesome, and that's potentially why you want to throw money at them. But would you actually be friends with them in real life? And if so, would you throw money at them every time you saw them out in public? Because it's just another observation of the bizarro YouTube world. Hope I won't freak you guys out too much, because every street's one way. SRB, not now. Yeah, because the truth's becoming, well, if you're talking about creators, the truth is starting to come out about a lot of them. And, well, actually, I've known the truth about a lot of them for a long time and wondered why it hasn't come out. And then I realised that these sort of protective enclaves that are almost like a little PR machine that do all this damage control. But I'm at a point, I've been on YouTube going live for 5 years this month, and I've realised that you're better off if you find something out, do your research, and it comes back all boxes ticked, fucking go live about it. Because I don't care. I would loan money and be there to help your peeps. Yes, but if they weren't needing money, this is the thing, Scout. Like, I'm catching up with my brother and sister-in-law and niece and nephews this evening. They are real-life friends who I adore. But I'm not going to walk through their front door and throw money at them. And that's basically what people do on YouTube to these creators, right? These are words seriously needed to hear, right? Oh, I'm so curious to know what. Well, I mean, you don't need to. You can keep things under your like close to your chest in this community as well. But yeah, because I mean, this is the bizarre world of YouTube because all these people who are now being exposed for all the shifty shit they've done. And we could do another live one day about forgiveness and all of that stuff, but I can't be fucked. Like, someone else can do a live on that. And people can change their ways and, you know, yada yada. I know we can all be bloody peace, love, lollipops and rainbows. But what's the point? I don't get why there are so many people that watch channels relentlessly, even though there's mountains of evidence out there that shows they are shitty people. And these, you know, the subscribers that are all like we are around the world, living in really tough economies right now and struggling to pay bills and feed their families, are flinging cash at these scumbags. And there's now plenty of information out there about a lot of these scumbags, which they're just choosing to ignore because for some reason they've got some sort of obsession with them. And they're so used to flicking cash all the time. And it makes me sick thinking there's probably, you know, people who are at threat of having their air conditioning or, their, you know, their power bills cut or their power cut off because they can't pay their bills. And they're sweltering in an American summer or freezing in an Australian winter. Well, not freezing. Our winters are really mild. But, you know, like, or they're not able to put food on the table and feed their children, but they're flinging shitty people cash almost on the daily. Like, it just is, oh my God, guys, look, the graffiti tuber has gone. Someone has been in here and painted this wall and it is shiny, clean and white. You felt stupid but chalked it. Some get angry when those super chats stop flowing in true colour. Yes. And that's why it's confusing that there isn't a sudden decline in super chatting. If anything, we see more often than not somebody who's being exposed, their loyal followers are there flicking them cash going, we still love you. We think you're amazing. It's like, are they? Oh, I can be, oh no more tuber. The tuber. The tuber graffiti be gone. This wall used to have very funky sort of retro looking graffiti that said, well, in Australia we call it tuba. But you guys say tuber, as in musical instrument. Where did it go? I know, Josie. It grew on all of us. Integrity means everything. I agree, but let's be honest. How much is there on YouTube? Should be the Wild West. Oh, there's plenty of graffiti. Hobart is a really quirky city in that we actually embrace street art. And we've got I've been meaning to take you guys down there for a long time, but because it's actually not dark when I leave work now. We're starting to get longer, lighter days, which is great. But I need to take you there like after work one day and we'll just go for a walk down this laneway that's just street art from bottom to top of not hundreds, but shitloads of buildings. It's incredible. And some of you guys know down where I live, probably Tassie, well, definitely Tassie's most prominent street artist was commissioned to paint a mural on a water tank, and it's absolutely fabulous. But that's all on my Tasmania calling channel. But I love that we embrace the street art. And there's shitloads of graffiti, even just the Hobart rivulets just to the left of me out of the car park. And there's heaps of graffiti along there too, and it's really funky. Integrity and common sense, very little on you. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, this live isn't about trying to stop it or anything. It's just a gathering of like-minded people going, "What the fuck? How? How does this happen?" There are people that are making a living on YouTube because of their subscribers who aren't stressing about paying their next bills, who go live to just bitch about other people on YouTube, and that's paying their bills and their rent or even their mortgages. Like, what? Like, fair call if there's fair crack of the whip, if it's someone on YouTube who's super talented and they're putting out all this original content and doing really amazing stuff, no problem with them at all. I still don't think their subscribers would go around throwing cash at their real life friends. Zavgul did another live last night, but she must not have gotten such a warm reception. It was barely 2 hours. Oh, I did see somebody clip the start of it, and she was laughing, like giggling uncontrollably with her girlfriend. I'm not sure if it was the same live, but that maybe. But that's your foray back into YouTube after what happened, to just be uncontrollably giggling with your girlfriend. I mean, I'm all for people having a support person. As a lawyer, even today, I will be encouraging many of my clients to attend tribunal hearings, court hearings, meetings, etc., with a support person. But yeah, her usual 12 hours wasn't that hilarious. Well, it wasn't really. It was sad. But when her live got shut down by YouTube because she hit the 12-hour mark, that was during Kylie Rodney, where she was rolling in the dough, spreading mistruths. Are you still sub to her, Scout? So, well, that's what they do, though. That's what they've all done. Any YouTuber who's been gripped in some sort of scandal where they've been exposed for being gigantic pieces of shit, they do just come back and act like nothing happened. And they've got their loyal subscribers. They're excited that they're back. And they don't realise that they've actually caused a lot of harm because all their loyal subscribers are flinging cash at them saying, "We missed you." She raked in more dough than a televangelist. Oh, what she did was horrific, but she ain't the only one. You cancelled your subscription after Gannon. Yeah, it popped up in my timeline. I mean, of course there was going to be at least one channel clicking her return. I'll just chuck a tiny bit of makeup on because I've got a few face-to-face appointments today. And I've got to make my 56-year-old face look relatively professional, which is not that much. I don't put much on. I wear mineral makeup, so it's not even like solid foundation. You can still see my freckles and stuff. But it just gives a more consistent appearance and shows that I've made an effort for the people that come into the office, even though very few of them make any fucking effort at all. But that's okay. I'm not complaining. This job's amazing because we represent workers. We get to go to work in jeans and even I wear a lot of boots, skirts, little dresses, that sort of look. Little A-line numbers with knee-high boots, some kind of that 60s style, but I don't do the full-on 60s makeup and hair because I'm a surfer girl. I can't be fucked. But like today, I've got a little short chocolate brown corduroy skirt and tights and knee-high boots and a little jumper on. I don't have to do the stilettos and suit shit that I used to do when I was a young lawyer in the 90s. Put on some powder and revisit the chat and grab onto a comment to keep crapping on. But yeah, has anyone named, and we've had Cement Shoes said Mel Mel. Is that it? I mean, I'm not surprised if that is the only one, but does anyone else have any YouTube creator they watch that they would actually be a friend with in real life? Because I tried to think about it. I mean, I am a friend with Mel Mel, so she didn't come into my head as an option, but I really can't think of anyone that I'd be like, oh, I wouldn't mind going off to the pub and having a beer with you. Well, no, actually, I can. There's a few people that react to music videos that I'd like to hang out with. And there's a few people that have cooking channels that I'd like to hang out with. But I'm really struggling. Yeah, it's Tuesday, man. We're in the future. Will from 411 now and me. I'm glad you clarified which Will, because if you'd said a different Will, I would have been like, can somebody time out Cement Shoes forever? Audrey Briggs. Audrey Briggs. What does Audrey Briggs do? Hi, Beth D. Who's Audrey Briggs? Tell us about Audrey Briggs. There's a woman that I watch, and I don't know her name, but Audrey Briggs has made me think of her. Not that I don't think there's any connection. But she's a widow who lives in New York, and she's got a channel that's, I think it's Life After 60, but she'd have to be in her 70s now. I don't know. But I really like her. I'd go to her New York penthouse apartment and drink. What does she make? What would her cocktail be? I don't know. Sort of say margaritas for the hell of it. But I find, older people's perspectives I always have. I lost my grandparents relatively young, and my mum very young. And I've always clung to the older folk in my world and in my travels because I just want to listen to them and their wisdom and get advice from them. And yeah, so I don't know her actual name, but I quite enjoy her channel. Like if geography was no object. Tomorrow's looking good so far, SRB. You are still in the past, bestie. Get a move on. Hey, Madalarium, how are you? Me, Mel Mel, and Audrey Briggs, the psychic medium from California. Okay, I'll have to check her out. Scout. Oh, this channel's fabulous, if I do say so myself. No, because we're a bestie, honestly. Great people in this community, and we all have our own opinions. We're a very diverse but small crowd, but we give a fuck about each other. We're reasonable and rational, but most importantly, we're fucking hilarious. We are. Even when we cover true crime, we can still find laughter, never at the victim's expense or the family's expense. But we all seem to have a skill of being able to deliver humour in the midst of discussing heavy shit. It's a great community. You'll love it. Everyone in chat is so cool too. Like, I go live sometimes and I'm crapping on doing like a little bloody speech about something, and the whole chat's just all catching up and telling each other what they're up to, and I love it. And I'm like, is anyone actually paying attention to me? No, and that's fine. I like going live because it means suddenly everyone can pop in and they might bump into one of their favourite people, you know? Like, it's like the bar is open. I might be out the back doing stock take or whatever, but you guys just catch up. It's great. And we've been this way from day one. Like, this is one of several channels too, Beth D. So I've got like a travel vlog kind of channel called Tasmania Calling, which is more of a just shit that I'm up to, and I just take you guys for drives or we go for walks on the beach and we just talk about Tassie a lot. Or just it's just a vlog really. And then because I travel overseas and you get to hang out with me in random places, but I've got a cooking channel, which is really an archive. I go live on both Tasmania Calling and Cheap and Cherry Cooking, which used to be the Shitty Kitty Kitchen, but it got stuck in an algorithm because of the name. What else have we got? There's Batshit, which is Finn's and my channel where we do a weekly show, and I think that's tomorrow night maybe. Sometimes it's American Friendly Hours. Finn's a FIFO worker, so his roster means we get to do the show different hours and different times and days each week. I've got this lip scrub at the moment. It's so yummy. It's meant to taste like bubblegum, but it doesn't. It tastes like something else, but it's so delicious. I'm good to go. And we've got 20 minutes to chat. And I've got my engine still running with the heater on. Hey, Emily Flotilla. Everyone here is fabulous, Madalarium. We are small, but we are mighty, exactly. We are definitely a little family here. Hello, Emily Flotilla. The cases get very heavy. And in fact, the reason this channel, I changed the name slightly because people kept saying, you're just promoting your podcast. Originally, it was called the Smooth Criminal Podcast because I had a podcast and I uploaded my podcast onto YouTube. It was like an archive. So if you want to go delving on this channel, you'll find my old podcast that I did during the COVID year. In fact, I did 2 years of it, looking at some of the funniest crimes from around the world. I don't know why it didn't take off because I thought it was fucking hilarious. And it used to take me a day to record an episode and then several days to research each episode. It was a lot of work to do like a 15-minute podcast. But I reckon some of them are gold. But yeah. You are not a noob, unless you mean a newbie. Yeah, it is a great bunch. Do I sing here? No. I sing on, I used to sing on the Tasmania Calling one because Mel and I did a parody of Natasha Cooper and Lynn, who used to be on the panel with Natasha, and Lynn used to sing on Small, and I was Lynn, so I started doing some bad Small singing, and I did a few legit ones, but I've got one of those voices that can sound amazing if nobody's listening. Although in yoga, we do a yoga class called Restorative, and we sing in that, and the other morning I was singing, and the girl at the end who was sitting next to me at the end said, that was so beautiful, your voice is beautiful. So that was lovely. It made me feel good. But no, I'm not a singer per se. I just love music. Will from 411 now is Mel's friend. He introduced me to her channel. Yeah, we did chat. We were going to do a collab, and I sent him an email and he never got back to me. Lots of people I'd have a smoothie with doesn't mean I want them in my business day. Exactly. Well, you have a good day, Emily. There's so much content. I mean, I'm one of those people that actually has a job and a real life, and YouTube is very much a source of um, escapism from me from the world of lawyering, and it's a creative outlet. But I mean, for the 5 years that I've been here, I haven't. I mean, my biggest channel is Tasmania Calling, and that was nearly at 2,000 subs, and then it got driven into an algorithm cul-de-sac, and I just cannot get it back on the algorithm. This one is on the algorithm though, so we're getting people finding us, which is lovely. But yeah, I mean, the number of creators who seem to determine success on YouTube according to how many subscribers they have and how many views they've got can get fucked. Because I've always been a quality over quantity, and I know exactly what I need to make my channels huge almost overnight, and I will never do it because I have morals and ethics. You don't have to be a YouTube creator for very long to work out the formula to make your channel explode overnight. I don't have the time to jump up on millions of panels and self-promote. I don't have the interest in buying subscribers or views because where's the joy in that? And I'm not prepared to go live slagging off unpopular, disliked YouTubers at the time and cashing in on that and going live over and over and over and over again. Look at how many channels have started up and have made a shitload of money just bitching about Bullhorn Betty. Or primarily bitching about Bullhorn Betty. Unbelievable. And they go live day in, day out with more bull. They're playing all her old original lives and ripping her to shreds. And really, like, I've reacted to Bullhorn Betty. It was fun. She's awesome to react to. She's comedy gold. But I didn't then do 9 months or 18 months or 3 years straight doing nothing but ripping her to shreds. So anytime a creator's like, well, I just looked at their channel and they've only got X amount of subscribers and they only get like 300 views, good on them. To me, it suggests their quality because the scum of YouTube seems to flock to the shitty channels en masse. As far as I'm concerned, the diamonds of YouTube, the diamonds in the rough, find the quality channels that stay small because we're not pandering to what the masses want, which is drama, bitchiness, nastiness, meltdowns, train wrecks, like, who is this person? Which person? Me? I'm Tori. Who are you? I just read that as like, who is this person? Is there someone in particular that you think I'm speaking of? I'm speaking of many creators. It's impossible at the moment to watch a live with a YouTuber who's fucked off because someone's calling them out, not going over to their channel and going, well, they only get 300 views on average and they've only got so many subscribers. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, awesome, I'm going to go and sub to them. The small channels on YouTube are the best, in my view, by a million miles. Not me. It was just funny, like plain text message. That was the way I read it. It was like, who is this person? And then it's like, does she mean, wow, this person's amazing, or fuck, this person's an idiot? Do you see how I read it and understand why I said that? Who are you? Yeah, but I mean, any sort of creator who's been called out and their only defense is, well, look at who's calling me out. Someone with a little channel and few views, who gives a fuck? It's like, why are you placing value on human beings on YouTube based on their subscribers and their views, clicks and views? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're not sensationalistic, you're not going to be a big channel ever. Or if you're not incredibly talented and you have the time, like, say, Grizzly True Crime, to treat it like an actual job. I mean, she's super professional. But, the Grizzlies are few and far between. But to me, a smaller channel is also like this person has a life outside of YouTube because they haven't been able to put in the time and the panel whoring to build their channels to these, huge numbers. And then you watch them and go, why are there so many people subscribed to this piece of shit? I agree, Josie. But I mean, we're getting some little growth on this channel, but it's like-minded people finding us, which just excites me because I know we're not going to change. I've been the same person from the day I first went live on YouTube. I mean, I've been the same person my whole life as far as morals and integrity and ethics go. But we haven't changed here ever. You used the one you used to watch. Michelle After Dark Doc's a really good friend of mine. Like fully docs, grandchildren, the works. That's how I ended up on Armchair Detective's panel defending my friend. And because Armchair Detective used Michelle's information and it was wrong. And I was in his chat going, you've got the wrong person, stop. And then he's like, well, I was called Traces of Nuts back then, which didn't help my cause much. He's like, well, Traces of Nuts, you've got a lot to say. Email Bubbles and grab a link and come up and explain yourself. So I did. And it was 7 a.m. in the morning in Australia. I hadn't had a cup of coffee. I hadn't brushed my hair or my teeth, and I was braless. Not that you could tell, but... And there I am up on his panel with his chat just ripping me to shreds, proving they got the wrong gal. But it was actually Michelle After Dark who started that shit show. Oh, I love me some Lego. I'm going to see if I can find that person. Exactly. You have more fun. The smaller community too, I mean, there are some creators who are not necessarily my cup of tea, but they're fucking good with their chat. And then you've got the asshole creators that will only speak to people if they get super chatted comments. They suck. If you spend money, I will communicate with you. How dare they do that? I no longer watch panel lives that speculate. It's just noise in most cases. It's like a Brady Bunch intro from it. Yeah, it is so bad, isn't it? It does look like very Brady Bunch. They all talk over the top of each other and put misinformation out. It's fucking nightmare. But yeah, speculation channels, that's what we like calling out on this channel. They're our favourites to call out. Well, yes, he is a special case, that's for sure. I'm talking about people throwing money at strangers, and you've just put my PayPal in there, but bless you, Scout. I should take my PayPal off this channel. Because all the people that keep saying that everyone's cashing in on, Heels in the Air, for example, or Zavgirl, and they're all monetized and making money, I've taken great pride in going, I'm not monetized. But Sunny does like treats, and that's where the money goes. It's her little bank account. Oh, there's millions of speculation channels. Josie, just watch Cassie's husband build his good. Watching the Alaskan car launch is fun. That'd be great, Scout. Thank you. I love me some Lego. My favourite USB stick, like our national postal service is called Australia Post, and at a conference a few years ago, they gave out USB sticks, and they're little pieces of Lego, and you pull them apart, and it's a little USB, and it's got shitloads of storage on it. Best corporate merchandise ever. Lego USB sticks. Are you kidding me? And it's proper branded Lego too. It's not like a fake Lego. What's my favourite channel? They come and go in waves. I have I sort of get stuck in a thing and then watch that channel. I'd kind of binge some channels, I guess. Um, that's a really good question because I love music reaction channels. I love scam baiting channels. I mean, Kit Boga's my favorite scam baiter. In the true crime these days, true crime, not OG true crime. I haven't actually listened to any for a long time. I mean, I love Mike, that chapter. He's a favorite, but I actually prefer to research true crime myself. But sometimes, like I'll put on that lawyer, just because he explains things so quickly and coherently for my Australian legal brain to adopt and understand the US equivalent, I guess. What the laws are in the US, because they are a bit different. But then there's cooking channels like Simply Sarah, who I've watched for years, and I just adore her. I just want to walk into her kitchen and give her a hug. I don't know, like, I can't actually say I have a favourite, but I'll think about it. Uh, Kit Boga, Kitboga, Kid Burger. That's a cute name, though. But yeah, Kit Boga. Yeah, Cooking with Kay for the comedy, although she's a nasty piece of work. She's racist, but whatever. Um, she said some pretty shitty stuff. I was heartbroken. I'm on Chef Jean Pierre because he's hysterical cooking binge. You love Peter Tragos too. Um, yeah, and I love. There's a cooking channel. It's all one word, so it's KIT. Like Scout has popped it above. Kit Boga. He's a really good scam baiter. There's a Japanese cooking channel called Cooking with Dog that I love, but dog died. Dog, it's an actual dog. He's not cooking with dog meat before you all freak out. But I still watch a bit of Cooking with Dog. I love all the Japanese artistry with their cooking and the way they prepare their food. So I watch a lot of those sorts of channels. Who else? I had a thought to send someone. There's an American guy, Ryan Was, WAS, who reacts to a heap of Australian stuff. And I really love him because he learned very early on that Aussies shorten words. So, like, we've got a lot of slang words. So when we say afternoon, we actually say arvo. And he learned that along the way. And whenever he starts a live now, he's like, happy arvo. And it fucking cracks me up because we never say happy before arvo. We're like, oh, this arvo, I'm going to go around and see my brother. But when he says happy arvo, that cracks me up. Yeah, I'm going to have to get out of here too. I've got to get me into the office. I've got clients needing legal advice, and it will be proper legal advice that I shall be giving, not YouTube inverted commas true crime legal advice. There's a lot of great channels. I mean, I even like watching repeats of Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. Like, there's so many different things that I enjoy. I like listening to so many music reaction channels. There's some great shit out there. And there's some bad shit too. But the next time you go into a channel, just out of curiosity, just ask yourself, as much as I like this person and their content, or as much as I come here to watch them because they make me fire up and clean my bathroom in under 5 minutes, which is what the Glera does to me. He annoys me so much. I clean my toilet in under 30 seconds and it's sparkling because I get so irritated listening to him. But just ask yourself whether you're watching them for love or intense dislike, would you actually want them in your life as a real friend? Because that's the question, I think. Well, it was the point of this live. How many of us would actually be friends with these people in real life? And if we were, would we throw money at them every time we saw them? And if not, why not? Anyway, guys, I got to go. Thank you to all of our beautiful new subs, and welcome to our little community of groovers and smoothers. You'll always get honesty here, fun, laughter, great senses of humour. We don't take ourselves seriously. It's got a very Australian vibe in that regard. Oh, it did. I listened to some of it. We'll have to talk about that. Actually, I love listening to Morbid. He cracks me up. Not a lot of people get the guy, but I do. If you understand him, just don't know why he's buddies with the Glare. It's a bad look, James. Sort your shit out. I appreciate all of you groovers too. Have a good one and see you all again very soon. Bye for now. Oh, wait. In the meantime, don't get hit by, don't get struck by a smooth criminal. Okay, I'm out of here. Bye, everyone.